各位记者朋友，大家。
Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to the regular press conference of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now the floor is open for questions.
提问：日前七国集团外长会发。
Recently, the foreign ministries of the G7 issued the statement of the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting and the G7 Foreign Minister Declaration on Maritime Security and Prosperity to propagate China-related issues again. They made irresponsible remarks on the Taiwan question and maritime issues and expressed concerns over alleged provision of weapons and dual-use components to Russia by China, China's so-called overcapacity and military buildup. Do you have any comment? The joint statement of the G7 foreign ministers meeting and their declaration are a deliberate mischaracterization of the facts and truth which seek to vilify China interfering in China's internal affairs. We strongly deplore and firmly reject that and have launched serious protests with relevant countries. Let me stress that the Taiwan question is at the core of China's core interests, which brings no external interference. The situation in the South China Sea is generally stable. Freedom of navigation and the overflight in the South China Sea has never been an issue. The G7 should stop sowing discord and provoking disputes. China has all along been promoting talks for peace on the Ukraine issue, never provided lethal weapons to any party of the conflict, and exercised strict export control over dual-use articles. We absolutely reject the G7's blame shifting. China is committed to peaceful development, follows a national defense policy that is defensive in nature, and always keeps its nuclear strength at the minimum level required by national security. China's national defense spending is made to safeguard our nation's sovereignty, security, and development interests, and it is open, transparent, reasonable, and appropriate. The G7 says nothing about the U.S. responsibility in disarmament and the risk of nuclear proliferation posted by AUKUS, and chooses to direct the issue at China instead. This is typical double standards. The narrative of Chinese overcapacity has been proved false by facts. The G7 should stop politicizing and weaponizing trade and economic ties, and stop undermining the international economic order and destabilizing global industrial and supply chains. We call on the G7 to see the trend of history, discard the Cold War mentality and ideological bias, stop undermining China's sovereignty and interfering in China's internal affairs, and stop stoking antagonism and bloc confrontation. They need to focus on major issues, including addressing global challenges and promoting global development, and do more things that are conducive to international solidarity and cooperation. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问：近期在泰国羁押的40名中国公民被遣。
Recently, 40 Chinese nationals detained in Thailand were repatriated to China. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced new sanctions, including visa restriction policy, that will apply to Thai government officials involved in the deportation cooperation. The Foreign Affairs Ministry of Thailand issued a statement saying that it had received assurances from Beijing over the safety of those deported, and Thailand will continue to check on their welfare. What's your comment? China and Thailand, as two sovereign nations working together to crack down on human smuggling and other cross-border crimes, is in line with domestic laws of both countries, international law, and universal practices. The U.S. has no right to interfere in such cooperation. The 40 Chinese nationals who were deported had been induced to illegally cross the border and were subsequently detained for a decade. The Chinese government has the obligation and responsibility to protect its citizens and help them reunite with their families and resume normal lives. By politicizing this issue, the U.S. is in nature applying double standards. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement reported the removal of over 200,000 non-citizens to 192 different countries during the 2024 fiscal year, marking the highest level of the deportation since 2014. The U.S. on the one hand engages in indiscriminate deportation against illegal immigrants, yet on the other points fingers at and smears other countries' legitimate law enforcement cooperation and slaps sanctions and put pressures on others. This is typical bullying. China strongly condemns all ill-intentioned vilification and illegal sanctions against China and Thailand, and firmly opposes the U.S. manipulating Xinjiang-related issues under the pretext of human rights, interfering in China's domestic affairs, and disrupting the normal law enforcement cooperation between China and relevant countries. China will continue to enhance communication and coordination with relevant countries on the basis of mutual respect and equal full-footed consultation, protect the law rights and interests of Chinese citizens, and work for stronger international law enforcement cooperation. Next one, please.
日本一名国会议员向日政府提交质询，声称1972年。
It was reported that recently a Japanese Diet member submitted a letter of inquiry to the Japanese government, saying that the 1972 China-Japan Joint Statement contains the words that the government of People's Republic of China reiterates that Taiwan is an inalienable part of the territory of the People's Republic of China. The government of Japan fully understands and respects this position of the government of the People's Republic of China, and the Diet member asked whether Japanese local government and local consulars have the legal obligation to observe this position. In response to this, the Japanese government issued a reply letter claiming that the 1972 China-Japan Joint Statement is not legally binding. This report says that successive Japanese cabinets all believe that the joint statement is not legally binding, and the reply letter also again shows the joint statement does not restrict Chinese local consulars' activities in Taiwan, was China's comment. There is but one China in the world. Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory, and the government of the People's Republic of China is the sole legal government representing the whole of China. China firmly opposes the official interaction of any form between China's Taiwan region and the countries having diplomatic ties with China. The One China principle is the political foundation of China-Japan relations. In 1972, the Chinese and Japanese government signed the China-Japan Joint Statement, in which the Japanese side explicitly pledged that the government of Japan recognized the government of the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China. The government of the People's Republic of China reiterates that Taiwan is an inalienable part of the territory of the People's Republic of China. The government of Japan fully understands and respects this position of the government of the People's Republic of China, and it firmly maintains this position under Article 8 of the Potsdam Proclamation. Article 8 of the Potsdam Proclamation reiterates that the terms of the Cairo Declaration shall be carried out, and the 1943 Cairo Declaration explicitly demands that all the territories Japan has stolen from Chinese, such as Manchuria, Formosa, and the Pescadores, shall be restored to China. These documents not only confirm the fact that Taiwan belongs to China, but also constitute the legal basis for ending the state of war between the allied nations and Japan and the building the post-war international order in the Asia-Pacific. They certainly are legally binding. In 1978, China and Japan signed the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between China and Japan, in which the two sides affirmed that the China-Japan Joint Statement constitutes the basis for relations of peace and friendship between the two countries, and that the principles set out in that statement should be strictly observed. The treaty was signed by the Chinese and Japanese government and officially came into effect after deliberation and approval by the legislators of the two countries. It affirmed the principles and contents of the joint statement in legal terms and is certainly legally binding. Taiwan has been back under China's sovereign jurisdiction for 80 years. The Japanese side attempted to obscure historical facts regarding the Taiwan question, which severely misleads the Japanese people, violates the Japanese government's promise of adhering to the One China principle, challenges the political foundation of China-Japan relations, and sends a significantly wrong message to the Taiwan independence forces. We firmly oppose this. We seriously urge the Japanese side to abide by the principles and spirit of the four political documents with China, earnestly fulfill relevant legal obligations, act prudently on the Taiwan question, and honor its promise of adhering to the One China principle with concrete actions. Next one, please.
Thank you, spokesperson.
路透社
of China from Friday to Saturday. This delegation was led by the Vice Minister Ma Hui of the CPC's International Department. Our questions are, what did the delegation do in Panama? What was conveyed to the Panama people? And also, did the delegation visit the Panama Ports Company? Thank you.
访问巴拿马的情况，中方已经
On the visit to Panama, we have released the information you could refer to. You could also refer to the competent authorities for the specifics. Next one, please.
Thank you. Question from AF.
法新社胡塞武装表示，今天袭击了美国的飞机群，主要是为了回击美国在胡塞的打击。中方对于美方的回应以及胡塞的回应有何评论？
红海局势
China
La Chine s'oppose à tout acte de l'escalade. La situation rouge a des raisons complexes. Il faut la régler de manière adéquate par dialogue et négociation.
印度总理莫迪采访时，在接受 Lex Fridman 播客采访时，对于中印关系进行了表态。他说，两国之间的竞争不应该变成冲突，而且两国自10月份两国领导人进行会谈以来，关系一直在得以改善。而且他还表示说，对于两个邻国来说，存在不同意见非常正常，但是不应该使得这一些不同的意见转化为冲突。这就是为什么双方之间积极促进对话，因为只有通过对话，双方才能够建立一个健康、良好、稳定的双边关系，使得两国和双方人民受益。他表示，他对于中印关系进行了非常积极的表态，中方对此有何评论 ？China noted Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent positive statements on China-India relations and appreciated the successful meeting between President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi in Kazan last October provided strategic guidance for the improvement and development of the bilateral ties. Both sides have earnestly followed through on the important common understandings, strengthened exchanges, and achieved positive outcomes. Let me stress that in the 2,000-year-plus history of interactions, the two countries have maintained friendly exchanges and learned from each other, contributing to civilizations and human progress. As the two largest developing countries, China and India have shared task to accelerate our country's development and revitalization and understand, support, and help each other succeed. This serves the fundamental interests of over 2.8 billion people, meet the common aspiration of regional countries, follow the historical trend of the global south growing stronger, and is conducive to world peace. The two countries should be partners that contribute to each other's success. A cooperative pas de deux of the dragon and the elephant is the only right choice for both sides. China stands ready to work with India to implement the important common understandings between the two leaders, take the 75th anniversary of the China-India diplomatic relations an opportunity, and advance bilateral relations on the track of sound and stable development. Next one, please.
发言人好，总台华语中心记者提问：有消息称，台湾当局拟推。
CCTV sources say that Taiwan authorities are going to set foreign missions in a handful of countries or use the term Taiwan over Taipei in relevant institutions. What's your comment? The One China principle is a well-recognized norm in international relations, a prevailing consensus in the international community, and the political foundation for China to establish and grow its relations with other countries. The government of the People's Republic of China is the sole legal government representing the whole of China. Taiwan is never a country, nor in the past and never in the future. For some quite time, the DPP authorities have used exchange and cooperation in economy, technology, culture, and education as a pretext to wriggle out of the rock-solid international commitment to the One China principle and expand so-called international space. They have coerced or cajoled other countries by sharing out a fortune or offering bribes to set new institutions or rename existing ones in some countries, lure them to cross, trample on, or get around the red line of the Taiwan question and destroy their relations with China. Our message to the DPP authorities is that China's reunification can't be hindered, and relying on external forces for independence can't succeed. China has all along opposed official interaction of any form between the Taiwan authorities and countries that have diplomatic relations with China. We hope relevant countries will through the Taiwan authorities' ill-intentioned schemes, abide by the One China principle, and uphold the political foundation of their relations with China. Next one, please.
FN News Agency.
阿飞社 有媒体表示，习近平主席拒绝了参加中国和欧盟之间的峰会，这将会在布鲁塞尔举行，而且今年是75周年，双边的关系建立，中方对此有何评论？
是欧盟和中欧关系。
China pays high attention to the relationship with the EU and Europe and is ready to strengthen the dialogue and cooperation in various levels and various sectors. In 2024, President Xi Jinping paid a historic visit to Europe and had in-depth exchanges of views in bilateral and multilateral scenarios with the European leaders. And at the beginning of this year, President Xi held a phone call with the President of the European Council and laying the foundation for the development of the bilateral relationship. This year marked the 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties, an important juncture for the relationship. China is ready to work with the European sides to implement the common understanding between the two leaders and hold the activities to celebrate the anniversary, strengthen high-level dialogue and interaction, and promote the steady growth of bilateral relations. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。新华社记者提问：本周是2025年蓝莓周，那今年的蓝莓周活动有何亮点？中方如何评价蓝莓合？
This week marked the Lansan-Mekong Cooperation Week of 2025. What are the highlights of the celebration of the LMC Week? How does China view the progress made in Lansan-Mekong cooperation? What's China's expectation of future cooperation? The people of the 6 LMC countries have not only shared a river, but also a shared future. As the new regional cooperation mechanism participated by 6 countries on the principle of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, the Lansan-Mekong cooperation has made impressive progress since its inception and has become a golden platform for regional countries to jointly pursue development. Under the guidance of President Xi Jinping and leaders of the 5 Mekong countries, China has forged a community with a shared future with all Mekong countries, bilaterally or multilaterally. Strategic projects on connectivity, such as China-Laos Railway and the Phom-Tam Sihanouk Expressway, continue to play their comprehensive role as golden routes. Trade volumes between China and the 5 Mekong countries reached $437 billion, up by 125% compared with the trade size when the mechanism was launched. The development of the innovation corridor steadily progressed. The digital and green technology continue to be enabler. The Fudan No. 1 Lancome-Mekong future satellite has brought the tech dream of many youngsters from LMC countries into the space. China launched small and smart projects and also bring more tangible benefits to people living along the river. The 6 countries jointly cracked down on such cross-border crimes as online gambling, telecom fraud, and made all-out efforts to protect the safety of life and property of local people in the region. The 2025 marked the 10th anniversary of the cooperation. China, together with the governments, the think tanks, the universities, medias, together with the departments and embassies, hold the over 90 activities. There are mainly 3 points. First, people-centered. There will be art performance, the lecture, the handicraft, and the cultural festival exhibitions, and there will also be philanthropic, the tea taste, and the storytelling to show the people-to-people exchange. Second, development-oriented, focusing on connectivity, low-carbon transition, cross-border economy, women, the poverty, and other themes. There will be the forums, the negotiation on the economy, and the innovation competition, the technical training to serve the integrated development. Third, aiming at the future, events will be held for Generation Z, Alpha, and young scientists and students, such as youth exchange programs, innovation contests, scholarship projects, science research camps, and competition. This will inject vitality of the youth into Lansan-Mekong cooperation. If you are interested, please Please stay tuned. The 5th LMC Leaders Meeting and the 10th LMC Foreign Ministers Meeting will be held later this year. China stands ready to work closely with the 5 Mekong countries to further improve and upgrade our cooperation across the board and work for the Cooperation 2.0. These 6 countries will continue to carry forward the spirit of development first, equal consultation, pragmatism and efficiency, and openness and inclusiveness, and jointly pursue modernization, actively forge a stronger economic development belt, build a closer community with a shared future among LMC countries, and make LMC countries' contribution to regional peace and development with more stability. Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
谢谢发言人。中国日报记者提问：据了解，中国军队
China Daily, we have learned that the Chinese military has conducted drills near Taiwan Strait. Some believe this has something to do with U.S. State Department's recent revisions to the fact sheet on relations with Taiwan and other developments related to Taiwan independence, was China's comment. The U.S. has recently taken wrong steps on the Taiwan question. In particular, the U.S. State Department removed important statements that shows the U.S. is committed to the One China policy and doesn't support Taiwan independence, which shows the U.S. gravely backpedaled on its position on Taiwan-related issues. This is another typical example of the U.S. intentions to use Taiwan to contain China and its connivance for Taiwan independence, which sends a gravely wrong signal to Taiwan independence separatist forces. China's relevant military operation is necessary, lawful, and legitimate in order to defend sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity. It's a firm response to external forces' hell-bent connivance and support to Taiwan independence and a warning to Taiwan independence separatist forces. Let me stress that the Taiwan question is at the very core of China's core interests, and One China principle is the foundation of China-US political foundations. If the foundation is shaken, whatever above it can't stand. Taiwan independence is irreconcilable with Taiwan peace, and Taiwan independence separatism leads nowhere, and using Taiwan to contain China will only backfire. We urge the United States to abide by the One China principle and the 3 China-US joint communiques, deliver on the common solemn commitment made by U.S. administrations on Taiwan questions, stop crossing the line, acting all the more prudently, and do not further damage cross-strait peace and stability and bilateral relations. Next one, please.
Hi, thank you. A question from Bloom.
彭博社、金融时报和彭博社都报道，习近平主席可能会和一些全球企业高管在本月末进行会晤。您对此有何评论？能否予以证实？
没有可以提供的。
On the question that you've raised, I have no information to offer. Next one, please. Any other question? This is the end of today's press conference. Thank you.